Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and it is Wealth Wednesdays, where Walter and I discuss money issues eventually, and basically just try to figure out how to get more of it, right? So today we're going to start off talking about that of the Freaknik documentary that is supposed to be, I think, coming out on Hulu next year. So 2024 is going to be produced by Jermaine Dupri. And it's got a few people shook. So, of course, I want to say the purpose of the Demetra K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like to say a big giant thank you to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You are the other side of the conversation. And not only are you the other side of the conversation, you get to participate live. I have put the link on YouTube. It is pinned there. So if you want to voice your opinion, please click on the link. All I ask is that if I don't know you or you've not been on here before, please show your face before I bring you up on the big screen. And if you choose to, you can blank your face out so that we can just hear your voice. Also, I ask that when you do come on, kind of be a little bit brief with your commentary. Now, what I mean by that is, ask a question or say what you need to say, and then allow everybody else to join in on the conversation with you. And so who's on here? 2 Cent. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. Beverly, how are you doing? It says America's sick obsession with foundational Black culture and its a plan to destroy it. Okay. And El Boogie, what's going on? And how you doing, Thunder? All right, so I'm gonna bring up Walter. Walter is in the house. Walter, as usual, likes to do 100,000 things at once. But one thing he does do is make time for us. So for that, we are grateful. Of course, hello, Cortez. Long time no see. Monet, Yanni, what's going on? No, I wasn't down there in 94. I had a daughter, Thunder, in 94. My daughter was, she was 1, getting ready to turn 2 later that December. So I ain't have time for no Freaknik. But I do know people who did attend. But I should say that Walter is our resident financial guru. He has been in the industry for about 30 years or so, advising a whole host of people, from celebrities all the way down to little old me and everybody in between. He on this show, Walter, you've been doing this for about a year on this show, right? And of course, he's been on the War Zone and other shows, but he has shown a lot of people strategies to make money. And we have a lot of testimonies about that. And I would ask, too, that when we get to talking about money, if we could not deviate to other things, let's really kind of stick with the money. And y'all kind of saw what happened last week a little bit. And, there's nothing wrong with that. But just a lot of people are watching because they want to learn how to better themselves financially. So that's all I will say about that. Rich, how you doing? And Mr. Jeffrey, how are you? Traveling all over the motherland. I want to be like you when I grow up. He says this is sad. They really making a documentary about that. Brother Don, how you doing, my dear moderator? And King of Sorrows, how you doing? He says, I live in Forest Park. I lived in Forest Park at the time. The rapper, was a big thing too. Okay. Hello, Easy. What's going on with you? So, Walter, what say you before we get started?
No, I'm just trying to wade through all the distractions and get to the money. That's it.
I'm sure you'll do a great job at doing that. So anyway, he's not talking about the distractions here. He's talking about in life in general. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started because I know you guys are,
trying to keep the shirt on my back.
Right. So anyway, hello, Miss Kiki. How are you doing? All right, let's get down to the nitty gritty. So it was announced about, I guess, maybe a week or so ago at this point that Jermaine Dupri, and it sounds like Uncle Luke, will also have something to do with the production of a Freaknik documentary that will center around 1994. For whatever reason, that was an infamous year, I guess. Well, all of them seem to be kind of infamous. And so I'll just give you a little bit of history. It started in 1983 in Atlanta by students from the local HBCUs, and Sharon, I forget her last name just that quick. Her name is Sharon. Her name will come to me. but she was one of the founders of Freaknik. Now, it started because the local students from the HBCUs could not afford to go home during spring break. And so they said, okay, why don't we just conjugate at a park? I think it's called Piedmont Park. Don't quote me. In Atlanta. And so it was a very small event. At first, they said it was about 60 people showed up. Then once word caught on throughout the years, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, they're saying originally it was for students at the HBCUs. And then, of course, from all over the country, the students started to come. Then they also said people who were not students started to come as well. And Sharon, she says, you know, you eventually you will look up and see 50-year-old man running around Freaknik. And she was like, well, it wasn't really meant for them, but it kind of, you know, grew and many people came. Now, of course, it was comprised of dancing and singing and games and, you know, just fun stuff that you would do at a picnic. Of course, there was food. And then, of course, it grew to something bigger where it was a whole lot of celebrities that would go. And, you know, unfortunately, there is a dark side of Freaknik where a lot of people, you know, got arrested for doing things they should not be doing. Of course, you guys have seen a lot of the pictures, and I won't show you guys any of them here because and I'll get to that in a little bit. But pictures of people doing some things that now in their 40s and 50s, they're not so proud of. But, you know, back in the day, they were having a good time. Of course, there wasn't a thing called the internet. Just y'all remember those big giant video cameras you have to hoist on your shoulder and walk around and, you know, take video. So you had those things, of course, Polaroid cameras and things like that. Nevertheless, there's a lot of documentation of the festivities in general, right? So I saw this clip kind of going around the internet and people are saying, you know, likening her to an auntie, right? She's a little bit concerned about what may be seen. Who else came on here? Stacy, how you doing? And Thunder, I'm going to get to your questions. Jan Michael, how you doing? So I'm going to show the video that was kind of making the rounds. It kind of went viral. And then I'll show you guys another video. And then I'm going to show y'all a tweet. And then we're going to get into the questions and people coming up. So, all right, here we go.
Y'all, I don't know. We might be in trouble. Did y'all see Hulu is about to release a documentary about 94 Freaknik? Yes. 1994 Freaknik. Yes. They are about to release a documentary. So, I'm just, now I've been to several Freakniks. 94 was one that I attended. So I'm just praying that Jesus be a fence. I'm praying that Jesus just be a big, tall privacy fence. That's my prayer this Easter, this Good Friday. That's my prayer. So, you know, I will say this though. Like when they would bring out those video cameras and start recording, I immediately removed myself from the that situation. I never ever was okay with being recorded out there. So hopefully that worked to my benefit, but you know, you never know. So the only thing I got is if you see your girl in the documentary, hey man, at least I'm fully clothed. At least all my clothes is on. That's all I got. That's the best I got. But yeah, y'all, they about to put our business out in the street. Some of us might be on TV. So get your parental controls together. And I don't know, y'all. I don't know.
All right. So let me remove her. So, of course, y'all heard her kind of concerned about what people may see. And she said, well, at least I was fully clothed. So that takes me to a point of, yes, there were a lot of scantily clad women and young women, I should say, there at Freaknik in Atlanta. And some of them, because I watch a couple of documentaries or, you know, there's some documentaries before this. So I want to say that too. This will not be the first one. And some of the girls were like, yeah, we want to get our hoochie wear on. And one girl was like, I'm a classy hoochie. While I'll have maybe my back out or something like that, I'm not going to have everything all tight and, you know, zhugged up in every hole, things like that. So that was her words, not mine, a classy hoochie. Of course, as you saw the woman there, very beautiful smile. Yes, Thunder. She's like, I removed myself when I saw the video cams and things like that. And of course, by now you guys have seen all the infamous videos. Who else came on here? Black America, what's going on with you? Avenge the Ancestors, Brother Reggie and G.A. Wilbur. How are you? Okay, so like I said, I was doing a little research and I saw this. It actually came from, I guess it was MTV, called True Life, and it was documenting I think it was 1998. Although I thought it ended before that, but 1998, nevertheless, where students were going to Freaknik. And I want y'all to pay very close attention to this clip.
Hoes and with the short stuff and all that, you know, I feel like they don't have any respect for themselves. They want that attention. They like that negative attention, and that is not cool. I'm sorry. If you got a mind, you got a brain, you're intelligent, you need to act that way and dress that way. Ain't nothing wrong with having a little fun, coming down the Freaknik and all that stuff, but you ain't got to be acting out with your clothes, showing your butt and all that stuff. That's not cool.
But yo, at the Freaknik, they ripping their clothes off, calling bitches and hoes. I don't think that's, you shouldn't do that to a sister. Most of those, I'm saying
I think about it is like, y'all saw what I had on when y'all first met me.
Yeah.
I had on little shorts,
Yeah, that's
but that didn't mean I was less intelligent.
Yeah.
That didn't mean I was asking you to grab my ass. If I was walking around, you know, and I bent over and, you know what I'm saying?
If you were dressing appropriately, shorts, I don't care how much intelligence you got, I don't see intelligence, I see your naked flesh. Now, I would not grab your body, but there are people that will.
That will, right.
So, you should dress appropriately.
So?
I resent that statement because, you know, that's just me. I had a little shirt on, I had a little shorts on, I got it, I can flaunt it.
It's a party atmosphere, it's just kind of like being at a ball game. Once everything gets going and you're walking around naked and you get grabbed, don't come crying at the end and say, oh, well, I didn't know I was going to get raped, or I didn't know I was going to get funneled.
You can't say that because the sister's walking around down here showing a lot of her body that she is asking to be raped. That is just her saying that she is showing her body. She is a beautiful black woman who is taking pride in herself. She has it, so she can show it.
The bottom line is when females come out here half dressed, half naked, they're asking for negative attention.
Let's look at our ancestors. We walked around in Africa naked, and our brothers was not raping our sisters in Africa. You know what I'm saying?
No. Majority of them, man, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta respect our black sisters, yo. You know what I'm saying? These are our sisters no matter what. You know what I'm saying? You can't call them bitches and hoes, yo. It's your sister, yo.
Now, as I watched that clip, I watched the whole thing. It was really interesting, and that was not on my end that it was grainy. Of course, that was, 20-something years ago. Somebody looked like maybe they uploaded it from a VHS tape or whatever, but nevertheless, I think y'all got the gist. Now, the one thing, and one girl that was doing most of the talking, she had the Bob, that was the one that says, I'm a classy hoochie, which I thought was kind of funny. But anyway, so there was a lot of, and I'm going to get to my point in a minute, but there's a lot of accusations that it was not the college students that were doing those type of things. Now, of course, you guys might have seen an infamous video of the black woman or girl. She's probably, a college student, I would imagine. She was surrounded by what they said was about 50 brothers. And it was a lot of, brothers around her tearing her clothes off of her, and grabbing at her to the point to where they did need to bring an ambulance in. And so that's kind of where that discussion came from, because some of those brothers and sisters there, they actually witnessed it go on. But I did see some videos of, it wasn't just the outsiders from the HBCUs, it was some of the students in the HBCUs as well. Of course, they would have their step shows. I guess that was kind of like the main event of what they call the Divine Nine. At the time, I think it was more like 8. One of them was still, trying to get recognition. So now it's 9 of them, but they had a step show and things like that. But the one thing that I noticed about this particular clip that I showed you is some of the sisters that were speaking, they were more or less like, well, she's kind of asking for it, and she dressed just like that and the other. And interesting, but not shocking, is that the brothers was more or less like, nah, yeah, I don't care how she dressed. We need to respect our black women. And I loved what the brother said at the end. He says, our ancestors was walking around in Africa, and some places they still are, without clothes on, and they weren't being assaulted. So basically, I guess he was begging the question, what are we doing today? Why are we acting that way? And so I love that the brothers was, speaking some common sense, right? Like, yo, that regardless, no woman deserves that. So I really love that. Now, also, before I give it to you, Walter, before I get into these comment sections, also, I saw a lot of indictment online of the sisters, basically saying, they scared. They're going to be seen doing some things, because there's another photo going around, which I will not show you, of a woman bent all the way over with no underclothes on, and an Atlanta police officer kind of helping her spread eagle, if you will. So it sounds like, you can see his face and everything. It sounds like he might have gotten in some trouble, but yeah, so a lot of women, so people are saying, now these women are scared. They got grandkids now, and they're afraid, that they're going to be out of their thoughts and hoochies and, all the rest of the other stuff. But as I was on Twitter, which I rarely am, I just happened to see this tweet that came up, and I'm going to put it up. Shout out to this brother, the real Dre Poppy. Okay, he says, y'all talking about the Freaknik documentary going to show moms being freaks, but it's also going to show y'all daddies being predators. Prepare for that. So I love that he brought the other side of the conversation, because if there is going to be an indictment through this documentary, it's going to be for everybody. Now I will say this, and I'm going to shut up, give it to Walter, and I'm going to jump in the comment section and open up this thing. I hope that Jermaine Dupri and Uncle Luke, sounds like he's involved too, okay? Because they were big time, participants, if you will, there. I'm hoping that they do not out people. You know what I mean? Embarrass people, shame people. I hope they don't do that. I really, really hope they come from a historical point of view, because from what I understand, it was the largest Black college event on the planet. From what I understand, one year they had like over 250,000 attendees, and they said throughout this time that it garnered over $20 million for the local economy there, right? So they also said one time the mayor and everybody was on board. They really loved it. But then as it kind of grew and got out of hand, they was like, all right, I don't love it so much anymore. So Walter, what say you? And then I'm going to, hey, Rain and Stephanie, LS, and whoever else came on here. Walter, what say you before I get in the comment section?
Well, in 1994, we didn't have social media, the internet the way it was, and all the alphabet stuff going on. It's going to be wild. It's going to be popcorn. It's going to be a hit piece. You already know it is. And since when does Hulu, Netflix, they don't care. They just put it out. It's going to be horrible. And the sad part is going to be some grandmas and some grandpas out there acting a fool. At this point, it seems like everything is on the table. So I didn't hear nothing about it until today. So I probably would watch the documentary just for like entertainment, until I can stand it. But I'm sure there's going to be some wild shit. People going to be ousting divorces. And you talking about Jermaine Dupri and Luke in the same? Come on now. What do you think Luke? I don't have to go through Luke's songs. You know what Luke talked about. What do you think he's gonna do? So I wish it wasn't the case, but it's gonna be another distraction for Black people caught up in the Freaknik.
So yeah, and they actually said that Freaknik was a combination of picnic and freak, which was y'all remember the freak? It was a popular dance in the 80s. So they combined the two, and they also said that a lot of the Freaknik, especially I guess when in his glory days, kind of patterned themselves after the Two Live Crew, right? Y'all saw what the Two Live Crew was doing, and so a lot of people throughout the festivities would emulate some of the things that Two Live Crew talked about, if you will. So I'm going to read these comments. Then I'm going to open up the line, and you guys can click on the link in YouTube. Let's see here. Thunder says, seems like a lady that probably cleaned up her act for me. It's a shame if you still doing and acting the same at 45 when you did in your teens. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a such thing as evolution. Now, I will say this. There's 5 professional Black women who are trying to sue and block the documentary from being made. It said like one or two are their judges. One is a political figure, and a couple more of them are CEOs. And they said definitely they would probably be, seen doing some things that are not favorable to them at this moment. So they're trying to block it from getting made. But if I was Jermaine, I would just come out and say what my intentions are for this documentary. I'm not out here trying to shame people's grandmas now or uncles or grandpas or none of that kind of stuff. Really trying to just, bring to life what that, event was, because it was a historical. Let's just keep it real. All right. And let's see here. Thundy also say, if you change your life, I think that's a great thing. Absolutely. Ella, she says, I had a great time. Hey, y'all missed it. Yeah, well, I was on the West Coast. My sister actually was there because she is a Grambling alumni. So she went and she said, I might be on there too, which would not surprise me at all. Hey, Craig, how you doing? He says, my favorite peeps. How are you this afternoon? And King of Sorrow says, wasn't nobody running around naked in Africa. Well, I mean, there were some, but it wasn't a bad thing. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they didn't, it was just culturally what they did, right? And I'm not saying everybody in Africa is naked, because when I went to Africa, I didn't see anybody naked. I mean, I just really didn't. So, and Thunder says, question, is it me or does it sound like the same talking points of today? Did we move the needle or progress at all? I mean, I guess that remains to be seen. Did we move the needle? But can I say this to y'all? I think sometimes as Black people that we are too serious, right? That's kind of why I spend a little bit of time off of social media. Twitter, I can do all the other ones, but Twitter is this one that makes me just grit my teeth. Like, it's like Twitter is the space for angry Negroes. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that we don't have anything serious to talk about. Lord knows we do. But what I mean is it's all right to lighten up sometimes. It's not, unless the documentary is something horrible, I don't see a problem with watching it. I'm, again, hoping that Jermaine does a very tasteful job with the interview. That's all I can say about it. And Easy says, it was some straight predators at these events. Yeah, you got to talk about both sides of it, right? LS says, the Divine Nine is a detriment to our community. It depends on how you look at it. Yeah, Biden said the other day, what did he say? Some of I know better than to go against the Divine Nine or something like that. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Kiki says, yes, that was awesome to see. Young brothers too. That was great. Yeah, I love that those brothers was like, I do not care what that woman had on. She does not deserve to be handled that way. LS says, God made clothes for Adam and Eve. Stop the cap. All right. Stacy says, I saw that photo, so you know the one I'm talking about. And Stephanie says, my sister Rip used to RIP, and yes, RIP to her, says used to dress like a hoe, but was a virgin when she married at 25. Yeah, clothes does not denote what you are like as a person, right? So I love that you said that. And if I didn't already, hello, Rain. Shalom on to you as well. And Kim, he says, times are forever changing. Yes, indeed. And how you doing? And LS says, Kasim Reed, former mayor of Atlanta and Georgia State at the time, was all up on Auburn Avenue. So he was there too. Ray says, Luke of Jamaica descent. He doesn't like foundational Black people. Just saying. I mean, okay. Because you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't even know if that's even part of the discussion as far as where he's from. Nevertheless, Luke was a very big staple during the time, even before the term foundational Black American came into existence, right? So regardless of where Uncle Luke is from, he is part of Black American culture. Uncle Luke and the Two Live Crew are the reason for that parental guidance sticker on all these explicit albums that you see. Y'all remember, some of y'all might not even been here yet. Tipper Gore, who was the wife of Vice President Al Gore, was like, oh my God, these lyrics are so deplorable. So they actually wanted to censor Two Live Crew, and they won in court. But then that's when the parental guidance or advisory rather sticker came in to play. So whether we like it or not, Uncle Luke is part of Black American culture. And a lot of foundational Black Americans, whether y'all like it or not, with shows shaking their moneymaker to their music. So I love you though. And J. Joe, how you doing? And PGH Big Dog, how are you? Salute to you as well. Brother Samuel, how you doing? Says greetings. If picnic means picking, yes. Then do freaknik mean freaking N-words? I mean, you could. Now I've done a little research on the whole picnic thing. From what I understand, there's not a lot of like data out there, although you will never get me to say it's not what the term means, right? So I mean, yeah. Rain says, just watch Kanye videotaping a young black female twerking in a thong. So I looked very closely at that video. He was not videotaping her. He was actually on his phone. Looked like he was working or looking at something on the phone. Because I looked at it a few times. So I was like, well, it doesn't appear that he's actually even paying attention to her. Now, there were guys behind him that were filming, but it didn't look like Kanye was filming. And he had the like best seat in the house, if you will, right? L Boogie says they are not going to hold back. They are going to put everyone on Front Street. I really hope not. You know what I mean? And hopefully Jermaine is taking stock of the chatter online. And Big Dog, it says they're going to change the names of surviving Freaknik, pushing a Me Too movement, shaking my head. Yeah, they could very well do that. I hope that they don't do that. There's a lot of videos out there of people willingly doing a whole lot of stuff, if you will, right? Brother Reddy says, man, I'm glad I never made that trip down south. You and me both. King of Sorrow says, picnic and freak. None of those words are good. Yeah, you know, freak was the time, the name of the dance. And that some of y'all might not have been here when that dance came out, but I remember the freak. I surely do. And the nasty. Anyway, Brother Ray says, let the documentary fly, laugh out loud. I mean, you never know, right? Until you see it. Detroit, man, how you doing? Yes, indeed, Black first. Thunder says, can Walter answer my earlier question? Oops, let me go back to it. I did say I was going to do that. Let's see. Where did it go? Okay. Says, Walter, I have a chance to pay off my debts if I cash out a small retirement account. Is one of many. Should I do it?
I mean, that's not a question I can answer right away. It depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, there's 1,000 questions you should ask yourself before you cash out a retirement account. One, are you prepared to pay the tax on it? So if you have 100 grand in a retirement account and you're not 59 and a half, they're gonna charge you 10% federal, and then whatever you pay in state taxes. I think the state has a penalty of like 2%. I know here in California, the federal has a 10% penalty, plus you pay whatever your income tax rate is. So let's say you pull out 100 grand and you made 75 for that year, you made 175. So you'll pay 50%, you'll pay the penalty plus the taxes on 175 grand. Now, of course, it's stepped up. The other thing to think about too is some pension plans will pay you over a certain amount of years. So let's say you work for a teachers organization or police officers like PERS, STIRS, or something like that, and you have $100,000 in that account. A lot of times they will match you, and then when you retire, they put that money together, and then they'll cut you a check for the rest of your life. When you cash out those plans, they take their half back, put it back in their pocket, and you get that money. So, for instance, if you got 100,000 and they got 100,000 back, they might pay you. I mean, you might get, $800, $900, $1,000 a month. So what happens is if you take your money and you try to get, $1,000 a month, you would need a 12% rate of return to be able to get that money out. And so, again, it depends on what you need it for. If you got some hot real estate deal, cool. If you can pull out 100,000 and give them $40,000 in taxes and penalties, but that 60 that you have left over is going to put you in a position where you got 140 next year, then okay, something like that makes sense. But that's not something you do without without sitting down with somebody. I mean, I see a lot of people do that. That is death to Smoochie. That's a retirement killer. You will be on the pole swinging all night, making mistakes like that. So make sure you talk to somebody, and I would talk to several people, because that's a killer. And that money from the government tends to be, or pensions, that's guaranteed money. They back that up with insurance policies, so that money will pay you for the rest of your life. You can also set it up where they have what's called the pension max, where they'll say, okay, we're going to give you 6 choices. You can take the maximum, and we're going to take your spouse off. So we will give you, let's say, $1,000 a month, or we're going to add your spouse, and we're going to give you $800 a month, because if you die, we got to pay her. So there's several options. So what you may do is say, you know what, I'm going to take the $1,000. I'm going to take the $200 buy life insurance, so I have it for the rest of my life. I'll end up with $800, but I'll have $200 going into a cash value policy that's paying me. So when I die, my family gets a lump sum anyway, so they can create their own pension for life. So there's several ways to go about it. You just, you need to get advice. And if you want to hit me up, you can hit me up on Facebook, and then we can go over it for a small fee. I'll sit down and, give you some advice.
Yes, indeed. So y'all can throw your financial questions in between, but we are talking about the documentary that is supposed to be airing on Hulu, which is a streaming service. I believe it's sometime next year, although it does not have a release date yet. It's supposed to be.
And I saw that Kanye West, he was on his phone. From me being around Kanye West, he was always on his phone. And let me tell you something. Yeah, first of all, I feel bad for the girl that's in the video, because she probably, and I recognize Kanye, he was a baby. I didn't meet him until like early 2000. Before I started, I was his financial planner. So, but what I knew about Kanye is he was on his phone all the time, working, looking at tracks, talking to writers, and he had more booty in his face all day. Everywhere we went, there was booty. Every booty was rocking everywhere. And I'm looking at this clip, and they got 13 seconds, him on his phone, and they're going to try and blow this up. Don't fall for that shit. Booty was never an issue for Kanye West. Matter of fact, me being his financial planner, I would have booty flying out the sky on top of me because I was his money dude. So you better
be glad it wasn't no booties with like these BBLs nowadays. You might have been severely hurt.
Yell around the neck. But no, I'm just making a point. People looking at, gotta stop messing with Kanye, man. This is a super brother. You know what I'm saying? Stop messing with this dude. And there's so many people, Kanye looked like the nerd sitting there on his phone, booty all shaking in his face, and he on his phone. He ain't even looking at the booty. I know some of y'all would have been looking at that booty. What somebody ought to have been doing is yanking her ass out of there and making her put some clothes on. But we ain't gonna talk about that, because girls have rights.
Yes, Rain, there was cell phones in the 90s. There was. And I also want to say, I see a few of y'all engaging in a conversation about tethers. And I want to say this. I see that word a lot, and I'm just one of those people who do not like it. I think it's just another thing negative to add to the pot of negativity. You know what I mean? And regardless, I have my issues with Uncle Luke, so I'm not saying that I don't, right? But I think when we start to call people names, it lowers our intellectual value, right? Because if you don't like a person, there's other ways you could say that, but run around calling people tethers and stuff like that is like, honestly, some of y'all gonna get mad at me, but when I hear that word, I'm like, are they 3? In kindergarten? That's kind of the visual that I get, right? So I don't know. I'm gonna shut up. But anyway, the link is open. Y'all want to come on here and give you 2 cents or so about what we are talking about, or ask a financial question. And Cameron, how you doing? I would love to hear from you. So it is open. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm hoping, is that Jermaine Dupri is really taking notes, right? Like, okay, I'm reading the room here. I'm gauging the temperature. They don't want me, because you know what? To me, I really think that you could do a good Freaknik documentary without undressing people, okay? And the other thing I think we need to do in our culture, maybe society in general, is understand that there is a such thing as evolution. Now, a lot of y'all thump the Bible. A lot of you do. And I always say, I could tell who follows the Bible. Hey, Will, I'm going to bring you up. I'll put you on mute real quick. I could tell those who follow the Bible and those who just talk the Bible, because what does it say about, when you were a child? You do childish things, and when you become an adult, you put those things away, right? You don't do those things anymore. So I think what we do a lot of times is deny people the chance of evolution. Because there's a lot of things we've done when we were younger that we just ain't gonna do no more, right? I'll be 53. No, I'm lying. I'll be 52 tomorrow, right? But there's things I did when I was 15, 12, 13 that ain't no way I'm gonna do. Well, for one of them, physically, I can't do it. But like get in a dryer and allow somebody to turn it on with me spinning around in there, right? I ain't gonna do that when I'm 52 years old. So the point that I'm making is we gotta allow people the chance to evolve. Like let's say with Kanye, right? Let's say, yeah, he was there. Let's say he was filming. I'm sure he couldn't have been no more than 19, 20, maybe 18 or whatever. So do we indict him all these years later for him potentially filming somebody, which it doesn't look like he was, but do we do that to him? And as a lot of people say, do we bring in Me Too? Like, what are we doing here, right? So, Brother Will, how are you in LS? I'm going to bring you up. And as a lot of people say,
how y'all doing?
Do we bring in Me Too? There we go. We're doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Happy early birthday, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I watch you guys every after I basically when I work in the AM or whatever. But I'm usually watching I'm watching a replay. I'm never live. But I had a question for Walter though. So say, can you guys hear me?
Yep, we hear you.
Oh yeah. Well, say I got $2K in my savings right now, and I wanted to do something with it. What would you say that I can do right now that, because I know being in a regular savings account, you don't actually get much in it. So if I say, I got like 2K right now, what can I do with it right now?
It's good that you have money saved. What I would do is what you need is a cash reserve, like in case of emergencies and things. So is that 2K, like if your car broke down and you needed $800, is that 2K necessary? If not, then what I would do is maybe I would start looking at some short-term things. Maybe, what I do is I get into like flips. I buy things that I could buy at a lower price and I'll sell them. Be it like cars or things that I understand. If I was starting out knowing what I know now, $2,000, I'd probably, open me a Shopify account and find something that I can market and sell and promote online. Like for instance, if you took $2,000 and let's say you put it in the stock market, and if that's the only $2,000 you have, that's
not really I'm not really that good at that type deal.
Don't do that. What you need to do is you need to have money in cash reserves in case things come up. What I would do is compare your return. Let's say you took that $2,000. Let's say you put it in the stock market and it went gangbusters. You got your 10, 12% a year. Historically, I think the market's done somewhere around 10, but that's with a whole lot of ups and downs. And a lot of people that put $2,000 in, got 1,500 out. So some people put $2,000 in and got 3,000 out. What you could do is take some of that 2,000, maybe take 200 or 300 of it, open a Shopify account. They let you do 3 months for $1. Maybe start a product like these candles. I buy these candles, these lids and the labels and everything from China. It's $3 or $4 and I sell them for 19. So that, cost me a few $100 to start. So you can maybe, and then if you got, you got 2,000 and you leave 1,500 in reserves, but you take 500 and start a small business. And let's say you make on the side from that business, let's say you make 400 a month. That's 5,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? Then you take 2,000 that's on reserves and 500 out, and you're making 5,000 a year. That is a huge rate of return. The stock market ain't gonna ever give you that, at least not consistently. So
open like a small business. I did have a few small business ideas, but I wasn't sure
pull the
whether
trigger.
to say that again.
Pull the trigger on them. And I would tell people, save like hell. Like when you get your money, 20% of that, 25, 30% of that should go into something. And I know I say this to people all the time, but when you get a check, what you need to do is go 30 years out and look at your future self and go, whoa, am I being real? Like, am I going to be able to continue this lifestyle without working? Or am I going to be doing something for the next 30, 40 years? So what I would do is I would save like hell. If you get $1 coming in your pocket, you got to put 20, 30 cents away. That is, and I don't care if you invested in something, you buy something. Anytime I get money, first thing I do is I invest it in something. I make sure my biggest expense is an investment and I just put it away. So I would say you have 2,000, that's good. Start focusing, do or die, put your money away. There's going to be a coming time and some of you are already feeling it. It's about to get nasty. I don't know if you watch the Federal Reserve and the CPI reports and the inflation, all the stuff that's going on right now. It is about to get nasty for a lot of people. A lot of people getting laid off. It's about to get horrible. And the people who have their own businesses, those people will survive. You know, they say inflation, I mean, the unemployment rate, they're trying to slow down inflation, which is going to raise the unemployment rate. So if you have a small business and there's 10% unemployment, that's a huge number, but you still have 90% of the people spending money. So if you're selling candles, phone covers, lighters, I don't care, glasses, whatever it is that you sell, you still have 90% of the people participating. So if you have a small business, you can thrive. If you work at, even like Walmart, and some of these guys are starting to lay off. So if you work at Walmart and you're making $15 an hour, and they go, oh, with the new robot, the AI, we can just cut this job, and we're gonna have all these, what are those kiosks? You walk into Walmart now, man, they got 40 kiosks and like 4 people working there. So, but if you got a side hustle, you can compete for those products that are going to the kiosk. So that's what I would do with $2,000 is I would add to it like my life depended on it, and it does. If you're not saving 20, 30% of your money, you are fooling yourself.
Absolutely. So was that helpful, Brother Will?
Yeah, it is. But I would like to talk to you further. It's really hard to get to you on contact, Walter. I tried looking for through Demetrius' pages and whatnot, but I didn't.
She could put my contact information in the chat. I'm on Facebook under Walter Lee Culture. You know, me and
I'm not even on Facebook.
Oh,
I should probably get on.
What about an email? Can you email him? Can he email you?
Yeah, I have an email.
You can put my email in the chat. What I just tell people, if you're gonna email me, just be ready to move. I want to think about it. I gotta talk to Jesus. I don't do shit like that. I just,
I'm ready to pull the trigger now. You said like a small business. I wanted to open up I know it probably costs a little bit more money, but I wanted to do like a towing service or a non-emergency medical transport type thing. That's what I wanted to do. I don't have any like special products that I'm good at or anything like that to sell. So I wanted to do something like that.
So what y'all can do is, for the sake of time, reach out to Walter via his email.
Yeah, there's my email. Just email me. Just be ready to move. I like to keep it quick, short, and to the point, so we can get moving. And then we'll figure something out.
All right, so I want to move on to LS. You came on next, and hello, Buzzer Cam. I'm gonna get to you in just a moment. So yes, Will, please reach out to Walter via his email, and y'all can hook up and do whatever y'all gonna do from that point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and come back and see us.
I will.
Bye-bye.
What it is. Hey, before we get to the fun stuff, hey, Walter, I wanted to ask you about tangibles, hard assets. Is the only way that if I purchase, silver and gold, is the only way I can benefit from it is if I exchange it? I'm not, let me let you know, I'm not with buying it on paper and somebody else holding it. So is there another way I can, you know, get the extra value when it increases on the actual silver and gold without necessarily trading it or putting it up? Hey, you on mute, Walter?
There are places where you can buy gold in hard form, but here's what I would ask you: what is it you're trying to get done? Like, for instance, if you bought gold, and it's just we're talking about hard assets, and it went up 10% next year. So if you put 10,000 in gold, you know, next year, and gold doesn't really move like this unless there's something going on in the economy, you end up with, 10,000, you end up with 11,000. What I would ask yourself, are there other hard assets that you could buy at a lower, at a good price and turn around and sell, or buy hard assets? Like for me, what I would do if, I didn't have access to, getting the cars cheap the way I do, is I would scour Facebook, Marketplace, OfferUp, Craigslist, and I would beat people over the head for products. You selling this? I know it's worth 500. I'll give you 300 right now. And knowing that you could turn around and not working out of desperation and sell it for 500. So I like to look at hard assets that way. Like right now, I got 18 cars, and I just was like, you know what? Everybody needs a car, and I just have them sitting there, and I'm, one at a time, I'm getting rid of them. But like, even if I'm not saying I'm not trying to hold on to 18 cars. This is a business. But worst come to worst, if the shit hit the fans, I know I have something that I can actually sell. So those are the type of hard assets I look at, stuff that I can move, because gold and silver is cool, but they do this. When the stock market takes off, gold takes a dive. And when shit hits the fan, gold rises. But, it does this versus saying, like I bought, this cup for $1 and I could sell it for $2, because like, you went to Alibaba or whatever it is, you got it cheaper. That's what I would do. And I had a dude, I remember his name, Paul Greenwald, said to me, Walter, why in the hell would I put all my money in mutual funds and get 10%, hopefully, when I put my money in a business and I'm making 100% a year on it? I was like, what do you do? He says, I'll put some of my money with you, but real people, real bosses put their money to work, and then they put the extras in a mutual fund and stocks and bonds, for long term. But if they need to, they have another business opportunity, they can go get to that money. So right. I would do that if it were me.
So I hope that as you said, you have another question. I want to hurry up and get on to buzzer cam so I can allow other people to come up. So what was your other question?
Well, now the question is the fun part time. Can y'all hear that? Yeah. That's some of the music from Freaknik. Look, man, it's there was some things that happened that should have, and that happens at any large gathering, for the most part. I mean, there are some large gatherings that happen where nothing goes down that should have. But let me tell you, the inside story on Freaknik, it started as a way to network and learn about the schools, the HBCUs here in Atlanta, and for the students to come together. When it started out, I was in high school, so I ain't really go to it when I was in high school. But once I went to college, and I didn't go to the HBCUs here, I went to Savannah State. I'm sure y'all may be aware that Atlanta is so many people have moved here. Well, Freaknik is what did it, especially for our community. I mean, when every weekend, you get asked, "Are you going home?" Well, when it's Freaknik weekend, it's not, "Yeah, I'm going home." It's, "Hell yeah, I'm going home." And then the next question is, "Well, what's going on?" And then you tell them, "Well, I'm going to Freaknik." And in my particular case, a friend of mine was like, "Well, what's that?" I said, "Come and see." So my homeboy came home with me for the weekend, and he saw. And there are many people, I can tell you, that came to Atlanta then and never left. I mean, they called home and said, "Send me my stuff. I ain't coming back."
Wow.
And yeah, and the city, there were attempts to legitimately organize it when Bill Campbell was in office. And They said yes, but once it got right up to the date, either they were told to say no or they decided to say no on their own and shut down the actual organization of the event because it was citywide. I'm talking about a straight citywide party. Me being local, I didn't. Me and my crew, we did not get stuck in traffic unless we wanted to. Just flat out, we could get anywhere we wanted on the back streets. But I mean, it was great. I'm not even gonna front with you. It was a really good time. And yeah, there was some knuckleheads and some locals were the knuckleheads who weren't mature. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? That
I heard a lot of stories come up out of there. You know, for the most part, a lot of people said they had a good time opposed to all being negative. So absolutely.
yeah, it brought Too Short here, and I mean, y'all would not believe,
I believe he
how
sounds like he's in your glory days right now.
I mean, look, it was a good time. It was a good time. No different than Black College Weekend in Daytona. And there were knuckleheads there too. And I guess they'll be making that documentary next because
Right.
that was fun.
All
So,
right. Well,
don't think that just by the name Freaknik that it was just
no,
this,
I
people
don't.
walking around naked all the
No,
time.
I don't think that at all. Yeah, I know. Like I said, I know people who've gone, and my sister, she's an HBCU alumni, so yeah, she was there a few times. But I appreciate you for coming on. Let Buzzer Cam and come
It's
up
all,
and ask this question or whatever. You have to
it's all good.
say. Bye.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How you doing today? Just coming to our probably last minute situation and stuff. Probably wrong time and stuff. But I'm gonna ask you a question, D. Probably, I forgot his name again.
Oh, Walter.
Walter, yeah. If you listen, have you ever been to that Freaknik before? Like, and how many times before? Or you probably seem like you haven't been there much at all, or something like that. And another thing, if this just do the documentary of Father Luke and Jermaine, it's a chance that it's got corrupted and something else like and of course the observation it's gonna be framed in a different way as black men because it is a woman around or widow or some other reason, which I don't believe is not the case like that. Who knows? And and I think it's gonna be a narrative or it's been on for that documentary. If it come out, whatever that is or something like that. So what's your thoughts on that chance that we come out like a different narrative?
Well, so your first question, no, I've never gone to Freaknik, and I don't believe Walter has either. Like I said, when I would have been able to go, I had a daughter when I was 21, so it wasn't gonna be at no Freaknik. I'd already had my Freaknik, which is how my daughter got here. So I don't think Walter has gone, and so I think you're asking what was our opinion about the documentary coming out. Is that what you were saying? The second part of it?
Yeah, my opinion is they go spread. I'm my afraid that they go spread a narrative or look at or Jermaine go let this fly through that and it's gonna be mixed in a different way. I mean, I hope it's gonna be talking about in a different light, or because spinning into a different way, like another Me Too situation, how the black man is keep on with these women or all of that like that, like the same narrative and stuff like that. And that's what that in my it's gonna be that's my opinion that's gonna be happening and I hope that won't be happening if it's the case. And it's gonna be spread a different way.
Got you. Yeah, so what I understand is supposed to be behind the scenes, things that you never seen before, because it's called Freaknik. I'm gonna put you on mute a little bit. Freaknik, the wildest story never told, is the total name of the documentary. So I guess I don't know what else they could tell, but for my opinion and my hopes, I should say, I hope that Jermaine and Uncle Luke they show us something tasteful, if you will, if that's a thing. that we haven't seen that kind of bring new light to the stuff that we've already seen. But I don't think we need to see what we've seen rehashed. I think we need to see it differently, if you will. So, Buzzer Cam, I thank you so much for coming on here with us. We love and appreciate you. Please come back.
Oh, wait, it's just another
Sure.
thing I'm going to ask you. No, last question.
Sure.
I listened to Drake's page this morning, his live, well, previous quarter last. He was talking to his guest, something like that. And this one black guy, I think it's from somewhere, mentioned there's another festival. He say it's kind of like worse than the Freaknik Day. It's called Jerson or something. It's spelled STURGIS. I never heard of it before until today. And what they called it, it's kind of like a festival where it's all the biker gangs around there. And that's comes to my, and that's not what's out of my mind, biker gangs. So I kind of feel like it's touched their own Freaknik down there. That was news to me, but I guess talk to Julie this morning that there was a festival called Sturgeon or something. It's like biker gang situation. And he tells some stories that what happened there and all that. I'm still looking for some research about it, but the tribal more surprised me how it is like that, like worse than it is. If I didn't kidding like that, I also spelled that out to you. It's spelled STR.
So yeah, so you're saying this is the one that had to do with the biker gangs?
Yes.
Yeah, that's well. I think there's a lot of festivals and things, Freaknik-ish, if you will, type of stuff. I saw a lot of people bring up the Girls Gone Wild videos. I do believe that there is a documentary, and in fact, the creator of the Girls Gone Wild thing did a lot of time in prison, if I'm not mistaken, for things tied to those documentaries. So, we can only tell. But anyway, Buzzer Cam, I'm gonna let you go so somebody else can come back.
Okay, I'm gonna go too. I'm a bit to eat in a minute. Okay.
Yes, eat something for me.
All right, thank you. Happy early birthday. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. Yes, indeed. The link is open if y'all want to come up and express yourself or whatever the case is. Of course, we are talking about the Freaknik documentary that will be coming out. We think it doesn't have a date yet. Next year, produced by Jermaine Dupri. It's supposed to focus on the 1994 Freaknik year for whatever reason. I don't know if something extraordinary happened then. Of course, you guys can ask financial questions, as this is the money show. If you like, and somebody asked what were my plans for my birthday. I'm gonna take a quick trip to the Big Easy, to New Orleans, with my daughter and my sister. We're gonna spend about 2 days there to do much of nothing really. We didn't realize, I guess there's some festival or something going on there. So that's going to be going on, but we're really just going to go be greedy and eat something, walk around. My daughter's got some stuff planned when we get there. So it's going to be very interesting. I want to do something spooky. They have some, historical things there. So I want to do something along those lines to kind of get into some history, like a tour or something, but nothing major. So anyway, who else came on here? Jan Michael says also, okay, so I read that one already. Let's see. And James, he says, was it always called Freaknik? So I think it was. Maybe the first year it wasn't, but then after that they merged the word freak because of the dance, and then the chic. Remember they had the song Freak Out, and the picnic. So they merged the words together, and that's how it became Freaknik. Let's see here. Smoke Splitter. How you doing? So Jermaine Dupri had another documentary called On the Come Up at the Source Awards. Did he really? I have to check that out because I'm interested in seeing his style of directing or producing or whatever it is. Black America. I'm side-eyeing you. Rain says, I didn't hear about Freaknik until a few months ago. Really? Yeah, it's been around for a very long time. And, from what I understand, I never went, it was the place to be. Now, originally, it started off for students who attended the HBCUs, and then everybody else kind of went and hung out there as well. And of course, Sharon Toomer is her name. She was one of the founders. It was her idea. There's a couple other people as well that signed on, but she says, yeah, it was supposed to just be a picnic of fun and get together, games and dancing, and then it kind of turned into some other stuff. Honeydew, thank you so much. I love and appreciate you for that. Thank you for $20, and thank you for the birthday salutations. I love and appreciate you for that. Let's see here. Manrico, how you doing? Says, can't rewrite history. It was called Freaknik. Yeah, I agree. That's why I'm wondering if he'll do something else, like really give us an aha moment, right? Like show us something that we haven't seen or something we don't know. Because I don't think we need to see a collage of people twerking and, all that other stuff. Although I think it should be addressed, but I don't think that should be the focal point of what they talk about, because we see that every day, right? On social media. And that's the other thing too, they say now that the internet is forever. And I would imagine back then, they didn't think that what they were doing would be forever, right? Because there was no internet back then. Like, who would have thunk it, right? Who would have thought that there'd be this thing called the World Wide Web, although there was some fashion of it, but not to what it is now. And who would have thought they'd have all these social media platforms where you can drudge up old videos and, that kind of stuff. So, of course, a lot of those people are now looking in hindsight like, oh, my God. Because a lot of people are grandparents now,
I mean, yeah, it's going to be a shit show. It's funny. I used to dance for Soul Train. Somebody sent me some of that video footage. But I had my clothes on. I was breaking it down. But you can go back. Shit, that was what, 1990 when me and Romel were dancing on Soul Train? So they have, footage forever. So you really need to be careful what you do. And if you did some stuff when you were 20 years old, there's some stuff we did when we were 20, walking into the nightclub, not making it to the nightclub, never mind. You understand where I'm going with this. We're young, dumb kids. Now, I never did no wild freakness. I didn't know what the freakness. I'm talking about the horse race. Oh, see, I'm thinking about the horse race. The Freaknik. I thought it was down south, like in the Caribbean. I didn't realize it was in Atlanta.
No, yeah, in Atlanta, and they said people, I would imagine to some degree, maybe they came from all over the world, but definitely from all over the United States. And it was originally a weekend, and then it turned into like a week-long event. It was times where they said people just really stopped in the middle of the street and just parked and started dancing, and the freeway even, because it was just so many people trying to get in and out of Atlanta, to where they turned the freeway and streets into a dance floor, if you will. So
yeah, I went to All-Star Weekend in Las Vegas. Oh man, they were like, never again will we have All-Star Weekend in Las Vegas. So if it was anything like All-Star Weekend, I saw girls walking down the street in heels and panties, people dancing in the street. It was just nobody playing on the machines. Every machine, somebody sitting down, nobody playing. So, but that's us. And other races, they go through this too. I'm sure they got their own problems. But since we are talking about we're talking about Black people, we need to address it. And really, we just need to be able to do better. We need to be able to talk like our kids now. If you go 20, 30 years in their future, oh shit. It's going to be, but then it's going to be normal. 20, 30 years from now, a girl shaking her, even right now, like I was looking for this Kanye video and I shut my Instagram down because it sent me there. And some girl is shaking her booty, just bent over, and there's hundreds of them. It's not even like, you don't even get excited. When that video popped up, I didn't even get aroused. I was just like, oh, another booty shaking video. But 30 years, 40, 50, well, how old am I? 53. So shoot, 40 years ago, we used to have the magazine and wait for mama to leave. Now it's just like, if I'm a kid, it's just booty. I don't like that booty. Okay, that booty's cool. Follow. I don't like that booty. Follow. You know what I'm saying? They're numb to it. So some of these grandmas that are out there shaking their thing, they may not have so much to worry about because their kids are doing it. They're acting even worse. They might even give grandma, she might even have street credit shaking it like that.
Black America, what's going on with you?
Oh, shit.
Happy birthday to you, Miss D. What's going on, Walter?
What up,
How y'all doing today? Yeah. I have a question for you, Miss D. Why do you have so much concern for these women and what they might have been doing at Freaknik?
Do you want to expound upon that?
You talking about, because you keep saying, I hope it's tasteful. I hope he doesn't undress everybody, about the women that were in Congress and in office and judges that are now trying to stop it. Why do you have such concern for these women in these positions that they may not even be on the camera, but they're worried about it? Why are you concerned about that?
I don't know. Concern may be a little bit strong word, but if you notice, I put this up here in easy. Thank you so much. I'm really get to you just a second. I see what you did there, but give me one moment. I put this tweet up here because it's not even concerned just for the women. Like this tweet says here, y'all talking about the Freaknik documentary. I'm gonna show moms being freaks, but it's also gonna show y'all daddies being predators. Prepare for that. So there is two sides to that. Right now, I should say, to me, I would just venture to think that most of the people at the Freaknik was behaving, fairly decent. He has a little rump shaking and stuff going on. But the pictures and the videos that we're seeing of women, flashing this, that, and the other, and dancing, all that, okay, whatever. And the videos that we've seen of the men acting ungentlemanlike. So there are going to be consequences on both sides depending on how Jermaine decides to depict this event. That's all I'm saying. I know that I wasn't there, so it's not even going to be any skin off my teeth, but concern, like I said, is a strong word, but I'm just like, we in the Black community, we don't need any more, as I seen somebody say, surviving Atlanta, Me Too, all that other stuff, right? Now, I would hope the people that were doing things they weren't supposed to be doing, they were dealt with accordingly, but I don't think we need to drudge up such negative things. So what I'm saying is I'm hoping it's not this big negative ball of a film that he is going to produce for the sake of ratings, because we know how we are. We like ratings. We like things that are salacious, like the whole surviving R. Kelly thing. Most of us already knew R. Kelly was a monster. But when the white man put up a documentary about R. Kelly, then we all jumped on board, right? But it's like, well, hell, if you was really paying attention, you could read a newspaper, you would see that information was already out there about R. Kelly. So I'm hoping it doesn't become that. But again, just know that there are two sides to this story. Now I say, Brother Easy, thank you so much for the birthday present, I would imagine. I love and appreciate you for that. You are always very, very generous. So my heart is full, and I love and appreciate you for that. And everybody that's wished me happy birthday. I'll be 52 tomorrow. I said 53. I'm like, damn, I'm speeding things up a little bit. But I'll be 52 tomorrow. So that is definitely a blessing. So thank you once again, Brother Easy. Black America, did you want to respond to that?
Well, so somebody put that tweet up talking about the men that are predators. Men have always.
It was a man. I want you to know that was a man.
I understand that, but it's a lot of guys who are simps. It's a lot of guys who cape for you women and try and have your women back, and things like that. And I understand you got to have all kinds. You got to have all kinds. Ones that want to just protect all women, don't matter how Trumpy or trashy they are, but you don't hear of any guys coming out talking about, oh, I hope you don't play that. You see what I mean? You have women actually trying to police and stop these men from coming out and making their money. And yes, it's going to be salacious, else nobody's going to watch it. It's not going to just have everybody flying in at the airport. That would be a bummer. Nobody would even go seek that out. So, but you don't hear any men saying, "Oh, I hope that they don't play it." It's only women.
No, there's actually a few men that are saying they hope. And El Boogie, I put his comment up right here. He says, I personally know some cats that did some crazy, and they are nervous. And I'm assuming he's talking about men. You can clarify and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would think that's not, and it's not just about women, but you know, Black America, I think you need to also be honest in that the indictment that we are seeing online is mostly dealing with the women who are being called 304s, thoughts, aunties and grandmas that was doing some things that we deemed that they should not be doing. And so, you know, it was two sexes there. There was men and women at the Freaknik, and both on both sides were doing things that would make you raise an eyebrow. So it's not me trying to protect women. I can't protect those women. They don't know me. I don't know them. All I'm saying is, I hope that Jermaine Dupri and Uncle Luke, they do not make it that. I mean, I personally would not want to be at the helm of snatching the curtain off of people's lives, if you will, especially if I see that they're nervous. And I mean, come on, we're talking about 30, you know, and when it got started 40 years ago, right? So we're talking about in some cases almost 40 years ago that this event took place. Now these people, some of those people are, I would imagine, are in their 60s. Last thing they want to be doing is, you know, having to say, well, what had happened was. So that's all I'm saying for men and women. I hope it's not an indictment of what they were when they were kids. That's all I'm saying.
I just don't agree. I hope it shows all good and the bad. I hope it shows all good and the bad because you know, we have been fighting in our community about how, you know, you got some men calling the women 304s, and then you have, you know, ladies like you, which I've called you a feminist before, and you think that most of the ladies are pure as the driven snow, which we know that ain't true.
What have I said that denotes that I think women are as pure as the driven snow? What name one thing that I've said?
No, it's not. It's everything you say, D. You want to big up the ladies. You want to make sure that the women are getting their due. They have equal and ample time to voice their opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. You're a smart, educated lady. You know, got your master's or whatever. It's nothing wrong with that. But you don't look out. You know, the only thing that you said that was kind of down talking a woman was when you said you was in the car with your daughter and she had to cut that lady off the other day. I was dying laughing. And you say she drive by you guys yelling and cussing y'all out. That's the only thing I've heard you say, you know, you know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying, but it's false. It's absolutely false. I am an equal opportunity criticizer, if you will. And I'm not coming from a position of a deity myself. I know that Black men and women got issues, but I'm not, you've never seen me on here just going in on the brothers. Now you see me and Donovan, we'll have a very spirited conversation with 99.9% of the time he wrong. But I'm just playing. But I'm just, you know, so we're having a conversation.
You go.
Well, you know, I'm just saying, having a conversation. But as I tell Donovan and I tell y'all, I'm a Black woman, so ain't nothing a Negro on this planet can tell me about a Black woman. See, the problem with y'all brothers are, y'all think y'all educating Black women about Black women. How you gonna educate me about me? I'm a Black woman, so I know the beauty of Black women, and I know the brutality of Black women and how we can behave as well. And I'm always on my war horse saying that we as Black women, we like to quote the late, great Malcolm X and saying we are the most disrespected, unprotected, all that other stuff in the world, right? And I agree with that. But the other thing that we as Black women do not do is talk about the disrespecting and unprotecting that we do to each other. I have plenty of videos saying that, and until we address what we do to each other, it's hard for us to address what everybody else does to us. And that video that you saw of me saying what happened to me and my daughter the other day, we was trying to go into the grocery store. We had a blinker on for a very long time. She just wasn't going to let us in. So it's either we missed the turn. If you live in Texas, you know, if you miss the turn, sometimes you got to go all the way up and come all the way back. So my daughter got in front of her. She was mad and got on the side of us and called us, you know, you dumb H words. You know, to me, it was funny. But I thought like, wow, sister, you that mad? Because somebody got in and they obviously needed to. But that, I don't take that personally. So when you say that I'm harder on the men, that is false. I'm not, I don't really feel like I'm hard on anybody. But this is the thing too. We as Black people, we got to say, yeah, sometimes it's tight, but it's right. We're not going to do, I say, I'm not, maybe it's because I'm an Aries. I don't know.
What does that mean? What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means.
What is it's tight, but it's right. It means that it may not be comfortable for you to hear. It might squeeze you real tight in some places that you don't like, but is it the truth? Is it right? That's what I think we got to deal with. So yeah, you might hear me say some things about men and brothers that you don't like. And for you to always come up here, you know, saying I'm a feminist and I'm always, you know, sticking up for women and acting like Black men are deities. You're doing the same thing you're accusing me of. And I'm gonna say this to y'all. I'm gonna say this. Y'all accuse me of being a feminist, but I'm gonna tell y'all like I tell everybody else that say, "Oh, you're a Trump supporter." If I was a Trump supporter or a Republican or even a feminist, I ain't afraid of y'all. Y'all don't scare me into. I said one thing Demetri ain't gonna do is bite my tongue. If I was a feminist, I'm gonna say I'm a feminist. I'm not afraid of you or anybody else on here who calls me the F word. I am not a feminist. But if I was, I wouldn't be afraid to say that. I mean, what y'all gonna do to me?
Okay, if you don't think so. But on a lighter note, I think it's going to be great to show. I believe me, I know it wasn't all bad, and we partied way better in the 90s than these people do nowadays. I think I went and picked my nephew up from a party. Everybody was just standing around on their phones listening to music. So I think it's going to show these kids how we used to get down.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm hoping it shows that, you know, that it being a celebration opposed to it being an indictment and giving, you know, everybody else something to talk about, because as has been said, everybody from here to there that's had a festival, you know, of something that they're not proud of. Woodstock is an infamous one, right? It's one for the record books. They did all kind of drugs and free love and all that kind of stuff there. So, I mean, you know, I chalk it up to being young. You know, I don't think you should be hung on the cross for some things that you did when you were younger. You're an adult now. You don't do those things. Allegedly, I don't know.
I mean, let's watch the documentary. I mean, we've been through, you know, surviving Never Never Land, surviving R. Kelly. Lord have mercy. I mean, it's just the way of the beast. It's gonna be a shit show. We already know it, but it is what it is. It happened a long time ago. What we should be doing is focusing on our money. You know what? You talked about that lady that cut you off, and I watched that video. And I said, you know, when people are working on their shit, they are less likely to be angry. Like, I was driving here today, and the dude cut me off. It was a brother, too. It was sad. And I gave him a pass because he was a brother. I mean, I wasn't going to act a fool anyways, but he cut me off. And I pumped the brakes. I was like, you know, man, go ahead. One, I got too much shit to lose. And I'm a superhuman. I ain't trying to get caught up in no nigga shit, you know, because you cut me off. You know what I'm saying? So I just let it go. But if I would have been Michael Douglas and what was that movie? Falling Down?
That's one of my favorite movies.
Man, having, you know, when shit ain't right and your pockets are a mess, you wanna slap a hole or knock out a CO. You become an Indian. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's stressful. But when you got your money, even if you're working on your money, like, and it's not a secret, me, I won't put her information out there, but me and one of my family members, we've been fighting for decades over some dumb shit. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to help you get your money right. I'm the devil, whatever, things happened. It is what it is. But I'm going to help you get your money right. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you build your credit. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put some money in. We're going to do all these things, and we're going to get you a plane ticket so you can get out of here. Hopefully not the Freaknik. And that conversation went on for about 4 hours. But it was like, okay, I'd rather have the money and the security and go live my life than to keep fighting with you for the next 20 years. The point I'm making, when you start getting your money in order, even if you start, like, you don't have to have a lot of money. Like I tell people all the time, Dee could probably quote me, start with your credit, all cost. Start with your credit at all cost. You do that, and then you can make moves. And then slowly, you start getting out of debt, paying things off, you start saving money, and you are less likely to blow money. Like, if you're the type of person that saves 20% of your money, you're less likely to go spend $400 on a weave or $600 on some shoes, unless, there are some shoes that you can wear. I have some $600 shoes, but I've had them for 8 years. So I used to buy dress shoes, $50, $60 every couple months. And one of my rich buddies was like, yo, why don't you get you a pair of Prada shoes and get you a pair of Ferragamos? That was 8 years ago. Do you know I have not bought a dress shoe since? Insane to me. So I still rock them too. Don't get it twisted. So the point I'm making is, if you start making decisions like that, a lot of that stuff goes away. A lot of those people just stress the hell out. Their stuff is a wreck. That's why you see people that are doing better financially, they're less likely to act a fool. That's why it was such a shock to see, like, number 55 get into that bar fight out here in LA. Because you don't expect people that got their stuff together financially to behave that way. And I'm not going to get into a commentary about it, because, he's a client of mine, or was, and I don't want to get into all that world. But I'm just saying, it's when you see somebody with money acting up, it's like news. So it just makes sense to just work on your money. I used to be in Amway, and I'll kind of close with this. And I remember this guy, his name is Brad. He had a brother. And he said to me not to me, but he said to the group, I came home and my daughter and my niece had colored all over the nail polish all over the couches. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And I was like, he said the story. He goes, we just came home and laughed. And he goes, I know there's some people that would have whooped the shit out of their kids. Like, whoop that trick, ass whooping. And it's funny because it happened to me with my niece and my daughter. I had some beautiful white couches. I mean, brand new, just, oh man, it was so beautiful. I fell asleep by the front door. That's what I used to do, is fall asleep so they couldn't get out the house. I woke up and there was nail polish everywhere. I was like, what? And I could only laugh and I didn't have money then, but I was already in that frame of mind. I'm not going to traumatize these two individuals the rest of their life because my dumbass fell asleep and left the nail polish in their reach. And them being young ladies, and I'm not going to get into that commentary, their job is to put on nail polish. So that was my fault. So the point being is, if you're ready financially, even if you get ready, you make better decisions. You're less likely to let somebody, like when I was dating, I would blow money on women, $300-$400 on a night, just all the time. It was like stupidity. Now, if I'm gonna do that, I really have to think it through, because I know what it takes to make $400, and I know I could spend it in one night on drinks and food on some chick. And even if we have the greatest sex, it's like baby oil on the floor. Still, the next morning is gonna come, and it's like I'm cleaning up baby oil. Ain't no nothing to show for it but a memory. You know what I'm saying? So that's my 2 cents. Gotta have to throw the baby oil in there, because baby oil make all relationships better.
Unless you're what was that movie? This Christmas. Y'all see them This Christmas when Regina King's character, her husband was cheating and he was in the shower. She sprayed baby oil all on the floor. So when he got out, he slipped, and then she took a belt and was whooping him.
There we go.
I got another story about some baby oil. So one day, I used to watch Locked Up, right? Y'all remember the show Locked Up, where they talk about the prisoners and stuff. Well, it was a predator, a child predator, we're gonna say it that way, was in there, and he was like, I'm under attack all the time. One time, these inmates mixed up some Vaseline, hot water, and baby oil, and they threw it on me. I was like, damn. But it sounded like you deserved it, and I think that people should hear that story from you often so that they won't do those things to come in there and have that happen to them. But yeah, baby oil has its good and bad qualities, if you will.
It's all kinds of things. Lotion and do all kinds of things.
Okay.
Just take your time. Take a deep breath. I mean, this is the money show. That'll save you from divorce. Baby oil is cheaper than the divorce lawyers. I'm just saying.
It says all it takes is 2 minutes for them to get into shit. Powder, nail polish, flour, anything. Laugh out loud. Yeah, you gotta watch the cheering. Yes, indeed. But yeah, I mean, like you said though, and somebody came on here I wanted to address. Why not? KR, how you doing? He says definitely a macho feminist position. Ha ha. I mean, most of y'all can't even define what a feminist is. Y'all know what y'all think a feminist is? The stuff y'all done heard on the internet from other men who more than likely have a problem with women. So y'all have redefined what a feminist is. I've taken some feminist studies before, and in fact, in my feminist women's class is what it was. It wasn't called a feminist class per se, but that the whole semester, the class tried to convert me into saying that I was a feminist, and I said I am not a feminist. I said I'm not a feminist because the way it is now, it is down with men, right? Down with patriarchy and all that other stuff. Now I said I can believe that women are entitled to equal rights and things like that, and should be treated like humans without being labeled a feminist. But they tried to convert me all semester. I was like, no, I don't need to be that, But I'm good. But so again, I'm not trying to convince you guys that I am or I am not. And if I was, what you gonna do about it? Nothing. You can't do nothing about me being a feminist. Hell, half of y'all mamas is probably feminists, and your grandmamas too, and some of the women y'all made babies with. And guess what? You couldn't do nothing about them either. So you can't come on here and tell me what to do. Nice try though.
I mean, ain't nothing wrong. If you're a feminist, you're a feminist. Black people, we need to be able to have an opinion without being on each other's throat. Man, I can't think of any, and I have a lot of friends, as you can tell, different races. I got some mulattoes in the house right now. I got a white woman walking around. I got Mexicans next door.
What's a mulatto?
Huh?
What's a mulatto?
Mixed up. You take ice cream, chocolate,
mulatto.
Swirl it up. Huh?
A mulatto.
Mulatto, I don't know. Gelato, mulatto, some shit, I don't know. But I forgot the point I was making. I got lost at gelato.
We said we got to get off of each other's throats. We should be able to say, yeah.
So we need to be able to disagree. That's all. We don't have to, because we Black, we don't have to agree on the same things. Like you said, you weren't a Republican. I'm a registered Republican. And I tell people every day, when I started making money, getting my shit together, my political spectrum changed. Because I know, like, for instance, I heard Kevin O'Leary from CNBC and Shark Tank say, you can't open a business in California, New York, all the liberal companies, AOC, you can't do it. Because what they forget is that to start a business, it takes blood, sweat, and tears. Literally, I have paper cuts on 2 or 3 of my fingers from opening envelopes, and I got burned by candle wax and candles and shit. I got all, it's crazy. Like what it took me to get this clothing line, Verbal Herb, off the ground. It was just nights of arguments and trying to it's insane. Like starting a business is insane to get off the ground. So I just look at a more conservative approach. But do you know if I stand up at a black church and say I'm a Republican, do you know it is everything except for Jesus showing up and striking me down? And it's unfortunate. And there was a time I was a Democrat. I was, and my sister tell you I was swing low. I voted for Barack Obama, for God's sake. But I mean, my sister Barack one, she was on the floor screaming hallelujah. You know, Negroes screaming all up and down the street, and we didn't get a goddamn thing. We put something we never even got. But the point I'm making is we need to be able to disagree. Like, I'm not a Trump supporter. That's not who I am. I am a Walter Coulter, what's in my bank account at the end of the day supporter. And every move I see Joe Biden making is, every day I wake up and go, I'm surprised we're not a nuclear war. To the point where, like, you have black people saying, okay, enough is enough. We're going to vote with our wallets, right? And let me ask you guys a question. What have the left done for black people? Name one thing. And don't give me affirmative action and civil rights, because civil rights, in my opinion, the way it was done, destroyed the black race. I think we were better when we had to fight, walk outside and be like, whoa, what's up? We need to stack our money. We need to feed our kids. We need to have our own medicines. We need to be the Black Panther Party. When we got away from that, our race disintegrated. Because we walk outside, oh, happy-go-lucky, oh, praise Jesus, everything gonna be all right, and we get the shit slapped out of us. And now we get all these distractions, the Freaknik, the this Nick, the that Nick. It's like, damn. I mean, when do black people get to the money? And I don't care what you think about black women or black men. I love black women, and black women are the mothers of the universe, period. The original black woman was born in Ethiopia, period, or somewhere around there. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we can't sit here and say black women or black men, because I hear sisters all the time, black men ain't shit. And I see them walking down the street with an Asian or a white woman or a Mexican girl. You know what I'm saying? Black men are wonderful men. We just have to get better at understanding each other. And black women too. I mean, like, a black woman, you know, and no, I won't say no fault of her own. I think the black man, we have let our black woman down. And I will continue to say that at the end of the day, if the black man is running shit, our black women can say, oh, I'm going to take a break. And I know some angry black women, my sister being one of them sometimes, can turn into angrodamus. But when the money show up, shit calms down. Black women like security like white, Mexican, Asian women, they like security. And when we get to the point where black men go up front, I think our women will calm down. I'm just saying.
So how much money would it cost for a black woman to submit, Walter?
No, I don't even think it's a money thing. I think it's security. Like, if I make $30,000 a year and me and her can live on 25 and I can put 5 away and she's not happy with that, then she needs to step. Go find Morris Chestnut. You know what I'm saying? In the movies. Or that's what I'm talking about, security or doing my part. Even if she makes more than me, I just need to be the man in the relationship. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think we could do. I don't think there's a dollar amount, because there's some women you can make $1 million a year and she's still going to be a trick, or she's going to be pissed or mad. But some women just want security. I know, like, I spent the night, not sexually, but I spent the night with one of my exes last night, like on paper and going through stuff. And we were able to do some stuff on paper. She was like, I wish you would have did this better. And I was like, you know what? I made a mistake. I made some mistakes. We both did. But here's how I'm going to fix it. Here goes, you know, we're going to structure some of these dollar signs and do a couple of things. And it's like, she's like, okay. She been texting me all day. I ain't going to show you who she is for the secrecy. She been texting me all day. Okay, what about this? Can we do that? How about this move? What do you think about this? But yesterday was kiss my ass till the sun don't shine. The point I'm making, as a man, I was like, let me step up and go back into my old, let me go back in time and fill some of those gaps and see what happened. And it worked.
You said something else about us as black people not being at each other's neck all the time. Do you think that we or a black community?
Not at the moment, no. And black people, we have so many things that tear us apart. Like if you watch School Days with Spike Lee, which was a phenomenal movie, you'll see that. Now we have, I saw this video of Gabrielle Union. I don't know why she's so fucking mad, going off about her kids and the LGBT, blacks don't have rights, and that is an absolute lie. If you are a black person, you're a black transvestite, you have more power than anybody on this planet. I watched this girl, white swimmer, and she was like, we were forced to sit, all of us women, butt naked, and have a man in the room who's sexually changing, but his ding-a-ling hanging, and us sitting there all in the same room. And his ding-a-ling hanging down. Or you pull up to the stall, ladies, and everybody y'all sitting down, and his shit is hanging over the toilet. What if you don't call that power? Ain't nothing. Like, come on now, like seriously. So we have all these distractions, but one thing I wish black people would do is just to agree on the money. Here's why I like Jay-Z so much. I know people say he's a sellout, but the brother, like, he's doing moves all over the place. Forget what you think about who he is. The brother's making moves. And black people are the first person to come out and say Jay-Z's a sellout. Kanye's a sellout because he got a white woman. But how about the thousands of black people that he hires? I've been with Kanye. He's surrounded by black people. The only people white or Jewish were his lawyers. That was it. Everybody else, his real estate agent, she was black. His manager, G, he was black. Hip hop, they were all black. But people still call him a sellout. You know what I'm saying? So, and I do want to address this. So I'm just gonna put it out there. Somebody asked me, they said, there was a brother, you have a white business partner. And he was in on me, like how you do black power. And I said, man, let me tell you something. You guys will go to work for Ford Motor Company, which is white. You'll go to work for Walmart. You'll go to work for all these white companies. But when it comes down to having a white or Mexican person work with you and help you, you can't do that. But you're okay working for the man, but you ain't okay having the man help you build wealth. Like, we really need to, like, if you want to be a true black power, we don't need nobody, then quit your job if you work for the white man. If you go to a white gas station, stop going there, find a black gas station. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, let's just agree to get together. I was going to say kill Barney. I hated that damn dinosaur. Get together and get this money. Nothing else matters, because when you have money and you're building, that stuff starts to fade. I promise you, man, that stuff goes away. And if it ain't Freaknik next week, it's going to be something else. And I guarantee you, women will respect men more. Like one of my really good friends, she was dating. She was like, black men ain't shit. She made a good brother. He's like on top of his shit. He's not super rich, but he's like stepping up. He's fighting for her. She goes, you know what? I was wrong. There are good black men out there. You know what I'm saying? And she was dating an Italian dude before this dude. You know what I'm saying? She's like, Italian men, they ain't shit either. So, and I'm just speaking from a man, it's our job to be the leader. Financially, physically, spiritually, mentally. It is a black woman's job to get behind a black man that is leading from the front. And until we do that, our black women are going, whatever you say, appear to be acting crazy.
Okay, so what black woman is going to do that? What black woman nowadays, because you're a couple of years older than me. You're not very much older than me. What black woman is going to get like?
My sister would do it. I know for a fact. My sister speaks the money language. I promise you, I know for a fact. If she met a dude that was on his shit, taking care of business, and I meant even his business, she wouldn't have a word to say. That's a lie. She might have something to say. But it ain't gonna be all night. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it don't even have to be like, I see these brothers in these blue collars, they're out there, they like the dude that used to cut my lake house and cut her yard. He's a cool brother. He's blue collar. He got a lot of common sense. He got a side hustle, and I know he always talks about going home to his family. And I never hear him complain about his household. He's like, I get back to mama, whoopie whoop. You know what I'm saying? And he always seems at peace. He's taking care of home, and he even got a side hustle to make sure he can add extra money for his family. And so his wife can only thing she could do is submit to that power. Not that he has to be balling, but as a woman, I think that women, why don't we just try it? You know, it worked for me last night. My sister would tell you, I ain't gonna go into the details. I was fighting World War III that Joe Biden could never unleash. But I was like, okay, I was wrong. Let me make some adjustments. What could I do differently? What could I do right now? And the stress, I ain't saying it's gone, because she's a woman. So of course she's gone. Women have to say something sometimes. But if you say, you know what, baby, I tell you what, I know I made a mistake. I got everything under control. So yeah, I was wrong. But when you get home tonight, I did my best to pay the bills. Everything is cool. The house is calm. If I beat you home, I'm going to make sure it's cool. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff works for women, period. And if you don't believe me, just try it. You don't have to be a chef. You ain't got to be Suave Rico's Samba in the kitchen, half naked. Just, even if you make a burger, make sure it's grass-fed. You know what I'm saying? And medium rare. Just put a little effort into it. You'd be surprised what you can get from a woman. And I don't mean sexually, I mean just cooperation. Because no woman in her right mind wants to go out and deal with these idiots, sit in the car, warm it up, get in the cold, put on heels, and go out and deal with these crazies. She want to be home with her kids. But in this world,
Farrakhan, I'm going to find it. I think he was talking about marriage. I'm sure he probably was. And he says, it was basically admonishment to the brothers. He says, yo, hey, Kimmy, thank you. You got your women out there on the job, probably working for the man. And y'all know how the man is. He's saying little slick stuff to her, inappropriate stuff. And she more than likely, you know, okay, he, you know, Mr. Boss. Not that she's feeding into that, but because she's out there working, probably because she has to help support the household. He says, you leave her vulnerable to have to put up with the advancements of the man, opposed to her being home. And he says, not only does she answer to you, but your woman is out there answering to another man. So yeah, when she come home, she probably not feeling the best because she's not only working, but she's got to rebuff the advances of the man. And let's just keep it real. There's a lot of sisters would tell that story of, you know, yeah, I've had the man say some inappropriate things to me, this, that. I mean, we've all been in that situation. And so he's saying, brothers, it's your duty to take care of that household, and that includes that woman, so she ain't out there having to deal with that kind of stuff, right?
And we all deal with it. So imagine if we deal with it. I remember the last job I ever had. I worked for Ford Motor Company in this company called Pre-Delivery in Riverside, California. And I was in the hallway, and I heard this big old, she was big, like big old zero. If I stood next to her, we would look like the number 10. She was like the size of one of the Twin Powers, form a circle. She was a big one. And her name was Vespa. I remember, I'm going to put her out there. Her and my supervisor, Gwen. And I'm walking down the hallway, and I heard her say, "Eeny, meeny, miny, mo." And my boss said, "Catch a nigga by his toe." And I heard that shit in the hallway. And so I was like, my original thought was to go in there and just get Rombasta, just blow the shit up. But then I was like, you know what, you dumbass. You're working for these people. You need the money. You don't have money saved. Your car barely started. You're not even in a position to defend yourself. Now, it ain't like it is now where you can sue and do all that shit. I needed the money, so I let it go. But I made a point to get out of there quickly. That's the last job I ever had. You know what I'm saying? So imagine if men are dealing with that shit. Imagine what the women are dealing with. Like, man, she got on heels, tight skirt, You know what I'm saying? Smelling good, hair down. Can't no man, black, white, Italian, handle no black woman walking in heels and curves and shit like that. Even some of y'all ministers, that sound like the minister. Some of y'all ministers know can't even deal with that shit. Can you imagine a white man seeing a black woman walk in with all that going on? You cannot resist that. So imagine the shit they go through. Versus you being like, you know what, brother, sister girl, yeah, I got you out there working. That's cool. Get the money, but I'm gonna show up sometimes and let them know, hey, I'm here too. And the reason she is working is because we trying to get something done. We not just out fucking our money off. She blowing her shit, I'm blowing my shit, and we don't have $200 in the bank after payday. You know what I'm saying? She's working because she's stacking her shit. That's it. So that's how we start protecting our people. And I can tell you from being in a relationship, my woman, she was irritated coming home, sitting in traffic for 45 minutes. She was a witch coming home. Because she was like, you're a grown-ass man. Like, do I really need to be at work? You can't support two people? Like, seriously? I was like, damn, she got a point. It was wrong. I felt like her approach, but she had a point. So now I work my ass off. I got 3 or 4 jobs, hustles. Shit, when I hang up here, I'm out taking pictures of cars. I'm selling candles. I'm selling shirts. I got all kinds of shit going on. My job is to make sure that my future wife does not have to punch a clock unless she absolutely wants to. And I think when we get to that point, because what woman's going to be pissed at a man that's breaking his neck to take care of his family? I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah, and I agree with that. And I want to speak on the other side of that. You know, if you have a man that's doing those things, and Farrakhan talked about that as well. In fact, I put a video up, and it was one of my least watched videos, but whatever, you know, and where he was saying that couples have to have priorities. He says, women, don't ask your husband to pay for stuff you know he can't afford and for things you don't need. Prioritize, right? Mm-hmm. And he's also said, you know, and in other lectures, if you know your don't break your man's back, you know he's making a certain amount of money. Stop demanding that he buy you stuff y'all can't afford it. He told a story about when him and Mother Khadijah got together. He said they didn't have any furniture or anything like that, and he found a mattress somewhere, and she was like, I ain't sleeping on that, because, you know, obviously it was used, you know, can't really blame her. However, he says, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm the man, I'm taking care of you, and until further notice, we're going to clean this mattress, and this is what we sleeping on. And she said, oh, okay. But he was the leader in that moment. He didn't tell her, well, you need to go on out there and you get a job so that we can. I remember him telling a story of how when they first got together, he wouldn't even let her buy him ice cream. He said he was, kind of low on funds, and she was like, I got it. And he was like, no, you don't. But he was just really making the point of, as a man, I was not going to allow her to step in the role that I should be doing. But I love the mattress story because it's more or less like, yeah, it ain't what we want to sleep on, but it's what we need to be doing right now until I can do better for our family. And he had a good woman that said, oh, okay. Instead of saying, well, you know what, I don't want to sleep on that. We need to go, get in debt and get us a new. And if y'all seen mattresses nowadays, I saw one that was so cold for $7,000. I said, when I get my coins up, I'm going to get me one of those. But in the meantime, I'm going to get what I could afford, right? So she was not that type of woman that was like, well, I just don't know what to tell you. You better do what you got to do to get us a brand new mattress because I ain't sleeping on that. Now, you got to think of the nature of Mother Khadijah to relent and say, okay, honey, because you think about sleeping on a used mattress, there's a lot to think about, right? But for her, to me, that was ultimate mental toughness and ultimate faith in the ability to follow her man and just say, okay. Now, that don't mean she liked it, but she had the ability to get in line because she knew her man was not going to have them sleeping on that mattress very long. So as women, we do got to cut our men a break, especially when we see that they are trying, they're doing right by us and all of that. And that's one thing I hate about the internet too, is a lot of times we see, oh, girl up the way, she got the latest Gucci bag or latest shoes, and she got this and she got that. And then you put those demands on your man, knowing damn well he can't afford that kind of stuff. And what you do is you allow that woman who's probably got every credit card she got maxed out, or her husband is working 15 jobs to get her that stuff, and you bring that home to your house, and then you stress your man out. Then you end up losing the good man. Then he end up getting with a woman who appreciates what he's trying to do, and then she helps him build, and then now she's got the good stuff that you could not be patient for. And I hope Black America is watching, because he always I'm talking bad about the brothers. I'm speaking to the ladies. So it's both sides of the story. It's about working together so you can get better, right?
And turn off Instagram and Facebook. And I know I'm guilty of it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's hot, I want that. But I'm thinking, you know what? If I can just enjoy my life, save some money. Like last night I spent, time with my son, my youngest son, and my daughter. My daughter just got in UCLA, my son's at Berkeley. So, I was like, and we just sat there for hours and just, hung out and just got to talk to them. I was like, this is actually what it's about. You know what I'm saying? All that other stuff, I said it to the group. I was like, you know what? I said it to the group, like, who are these people? I was like, you know what? I could have did a lot better, but I was doing what I knew how to do, is make money, make sure y'all are safe. And you know what I'm saying? Y'all can continue even to this day. Make sure y'all straight. I could have did it better. But that moment, I was like I picked my daughter up from school yesterday. I had to track her ass down, because kids are always on time. And I was just like, man, this is actually pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? These are the moments that they're going to remember. So-and-so got a BBL and getting out of a pink Cadillac on Instagram. That is not going to do it. You know what's sexy to me? It will be, if I was a woman, is having someone say, you know what? I got some money saved. So if something comes up, you are 100% safe. I got enough life insurance. If I die, baby, you got a meal. You straight. You Nipsey Hussle. You got a meal on your flesh. On mine. You should have it too. If I get injured, heart attack, stroke, baby, you're straight. So that's sexy to me. Security, knowing that things are taken care of. All that Instagram life, most of those Instagram hoes, I'm stuck in the Freaknik mode, are miserable. I have a friend of mine in Houston who's a stripper. She's damn near 50 years old. And she's like, this sucks. All this glamour and all this, I would have did it differently.
You said 50?
47 years old, stripper. But she goes, I make $2,000 a day. I don't know what to do.
And are they hiring?
I say, keep doing it.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
She got $500,000 saved. She said, I was doing it for free. So at least I'm getting paid for it. I said, I heard that. But it's those moments that you don't get back. So that's what we should be focusing on. All that other stuff, the money, you need it, but like all the cars and all that stuff. Like I wanted a Range Rover. I got it. That Range Rover sits in my garage. I barely even drive it. It just sits up there. I put it on Turo. Other people drive it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, and that's a good point. Thanks, John Michael. Is build, I can't explain it. I wish I would have understood this more. There's nothing like owning a piece of property. I'm telling you, you cannot, the feeling of this is my shit. And ain't no landlord showing up to be like, oh, we're going to make some changes. No, you're not. The only people making changes is the bank. And they got a whole list of things they got to do before they can make changes with me and this mortgage. You know what I'm saying? Even if you own, black people, and this is for all people, but we're talking to black people, right? Get you a piece of land somewhere. Even if it's I don't care, man. If you got a piece of land, there's some water. I sound like old Negro, some water. You know what I'm saying? You You put an Airstream on that shit or a $5,000 RV and go out and have them deliver a water tank and get you one of those propane tanks and hook it up to one of those $200 Amazon showers, but get you a solar panel from Harbor Freight. You know what I'm saying? You can literally do this. Just like that. It's so, I mean, if shit hit the fan, you could do that. You could do it. And so when I understood that, somebody broke it down to me. I was like, okay, I'm going to get me a piece of property. And I'm trying to build a house on it, dealing with contractors because I want to kill myself. But worst come to worst, I can buy an Airstream and pull it on my land, and I could stay there if shit hit the fan.
Walter, can you answer this question here?
Sure.
And how you doing, Arneva?
No such thing as self-insuring. That is an insanely inappropriate move once you understand the rules. Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, all have life insurance. All have life insurance. Elon Musk, all of them, the richest people. Life insurance is for rich people. And there's no such thing as self-insuring. Don't work. It do not work. If you got $2 million saved and it's paying you in residual income $100,000 a year, you tell them you couldn't take 4,000 of that and get another 2 million so your family could be safe? Come on now. Life insurance, you don't self-insure. Rich people do not self-insure. Do you really think Warren Buffett is driving around without auto insurance? Just think about that for a second, right? People would say that, well, I'm a self-insurer. Like when? At what point will you self-insure? Do you realize you can spend 30 years saving up for an event and lose it all in months? You have a stroke and your care is $8,000, that's $100,000 a year. How long does it take you for that? To save up that kind of money, and how long does it take to blow it? So, yeah, don't self-insure. Just get life insurance, get long-term, get critical illness. Just get it and just forget about that money. Do it and forget about it. Stop making your family do barbecues and passing the bucket. And you know what I'm saying? We got your 13-year-old on the center divider with a sign because your black ass didn't have life insurance. And I'm not talking to you specifically with the question. I'm just talking to us in general. Get some life insurance. It's the best thing you can do for your family. Actually, the best thing you can do is get insurance on somebody around you. So they die, you get the money. That's what I'm trying to do in my life. Insure some people around me. So if they kick the bucket, I can fill the bucket. You know what I'm saying?
So anyway, y'all, we love, and appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here on Wealth Wednesdays with Walter. Donovan and I will be back here on Sunday. I ain't gonna be gone that long. I'll be back here on Sunday. I don't know what we'll talk about, but y'all can give us some suggestions, and I will be more than happy to do that. Let's see here. Brother Reggie said, laugh out loud. And Arneva says, Walter, but the insurance companies make a profit off the premiums. Why can't you do it for yourself if you're set? If you're not set, it makes sense.
No. It never makes sense not to have insurance because self-insurance is too risky. And of course, the insurance companies, they make premiums. Like if Hurricane Harvey came back through, hey, Kimmy, and you had flood insurance, you would be glad for those premiums. Like, because there's too many things to self-insure. Your home, your car, your life, your health. Come on. It's too much. That keeps people poor. And I know a lot of people make this argument. It is suicide financially to self-insure. And then what if you had a critical illness or you had a disease? You know what I'm saying? You get cancer or heart disease or diabetes. You're not getting life insurance. You know, you got people in their 40s getting diabetes. Kids, people in their 20s, pre-diabetic. They're not getting life insurance. You're not getting life insurance as a cancer fighter. Even as a cancer survivor, they make you wait years to be in remission before they will even give you, and it will be the shittiest premium. So no, don't self-insure. If somebody's telling you to do that, just don't take advice from them because they're setting you up for the big payback. So, and if you need insurance, hit me up. My email's in there. I don't sell it, but I know people that do sell it. I'm an expert at life insurance. I sold it for 20, 30 years. There's nobody better on the planet when it comes to selling life insurance. I don't sell it, but I can put you in the right place.
Absolutely. So lastly, and thank you so much, Easy. Teacher says, school them. These insurance insure everything and everybody, taking the cash value and buying other investments, land, and more insurance. Yeah, that's the one of the best ways to build wealth is via life insurance.
Yeah, you can learn from the Jews, man. I ain't mad at the Jews. I wish one day that people be like, oh man, we need to be like the blacks. You know what I'm saying? They got money stacked, money hid. They own their rights, their music, their labels. They own their houses. You know, like life insurance is, I'm telling you, I have AIG and I pull money out of my AIG policy. They loan it to me at 3%, and I put that shit to work and make 50%. I keep 47, they keep 3. And my money's still in the stock market in my life insurance policy. So I have my cake and I get to eat it too. I mean, there's no investment on the planet like life insurance. That's why rich people have it. If you go to Bank of America to their ledger, they have a huge percentage of their money in life insurance. Your money in the bank that's paying 0.0, they put in life insurance policies, paying them 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9%. Google it. Life insurance and FDIC or FDIC deposits that are in life insurance. Google it. It will blow your mind. So if it's good enough for Jamie Dimon and Chase, it's good enough for you.
Absolutely. So anyway, we'll see y'all. Thank y'all so much for the birthday salutations. That makes me feel so good. Appreciate everything, you guys, the subscribers, if you liked and you donated, all of that. I mean, it just, you all make this channel what it is. We could not do it without you. And so you guys have a great rest of your evening. Yes, Walter?
Yes. And when there's value, there's Venmo.
You know what? I'm gonna put that.
No, that's I'm like John Hamm. Don't take it. It's mine.
Thank you so much, L Boogie. Love and appreciate y'all. And y'all go follow L Boogie. He drops jewels. So please go follow him on YouTube. It is just what it says here. Teacher says, I live in a predominantly Jewish community. I'm learning. My neighbor fills out forms for me to get free because my daughter has seizures. He says free OUK or because she has seizures. They know. So you're basically saying, oh, free oil. Okay, got you. Because she has seizures. And say, they be knowing, right? So, I mean, we can learn some things. And so, all right, Pam, Jam, and Kimmy, thank you so much. See y'all later. Peace.